because I can't cater to them.
Oh, okay.
The way architects and designers work, it becomes very difficult logistically for a gallery like mine to operate and to facilitate it. Because the scenario that we have is that they come to us at the last stage,
right.
Everything is complete. Now the client wants to see it as is well as kind of a situation. So they want to see alternatives and options.
Okay.
And my artists are all over the world. So how do I first of all logistically get the art? And once we get it, there will be a rejection, a high rejection also.
Yeah.
So then again, sending that back.
Okay.
All these logistics don't work for me, so that's why.
No, that's a very, very fair point, and I've heard this before with a lot of galleries. But we'll address that and we'll see how we can work on that as well.
Lovely.
So today, when the last piece of work that you did, piece of art that you created, do you yourself visualize it in a certain space?
As an artist, I always visualize first. Everything is in my imagination, and also it is a very slow and deep process, to fulfill that ideas, whatever I get it, and sometimes it's also a very long process. But I think most of the artists and all artists are in the same process. Maybe sometimes I am little exceptional, I take a long time. So that's it.
Okay. No, so what I was trying to ask you is not just the process of creating the art.
Okay.
While creating the art, do you already think that this will go on a white wall, on a grey wall, in a home, in a hotel, at the airport?
No, absolutely not. Because especially I can talk about myself. When I start painting any subjects, I never even think it will sell or don't sell, or it will go or not. It's just, it just happens. And it is also not such a big plan before start painting. I think those innocence things is very important in my work.
Fabulous.
And some other way I call the mood. So once it's there, we don't need anything. I think that is the ultimate thing for that finish work.
Lovely, lovely. I'm so glad to hear that. So I'll transfer that. Okay, I think that's it. He's just told me. I'm just a little excessive. So I'll take the same question, to you. Is that, do you really visualize it with space?
Actually, means size of my work.
See, that's it. So, one is that when you're saying, when he just mentioned that I'm not even worried whether it sells or not, which means it's not necessarily going somewhere else. So, when you say size, perfect. That's one other determining factor.
Because firstly, I don't take any commission work.
Okay.
So I do my own work, and since I'm into abstract painting, it's spontaneous. Of course, a lot of thinking goes behind it. Every day I go to my studio, and I do my work depending on my mood, right from 1 inch to 1 inch to 10 feet by 10.
Okay.
It depends. So I don't decide it.
No. Okay.
And so far I just been exhibiting my work in art shows.
Right.
And during the last couple of years I got about 6 art collectors.
Okay.
That's all. So I don't take my work to any gallery or to any art dealer.
Okay.
I don't try to sell my work also. So I'm happy and satisfied with people coming to see my work. They collect, they get it. That's all.
There are a few galleries here who are waiting in a queue. But that's a fair point. Pratesh, I think I'll ask you this, So let's flip it, when you're designing a space, do you already visualize a certain piece of art?
Yeah, I think you will also agree, we as a designer, we cannot do a presentation without an art. If we show a presentation without an art, it's a dead wall. It's a dead presentation because every wall has to have a life. And the life of the wall is only possible if there is an art piece or a painting on the wall. So I think every designer must be going with this practice, and only if there are, imagine if there is a wall, there's one room, a living room which we are designing, and if I do a one presentation with a plain white wall behind the sofa, and if I put a presentation with a small painting behind the sofa, definitely the second option is going to be approved or liked by the layman. The client is a layman, and that's what they like. They don't like what sofa and living room is looking, but when they see the art piece, the creativity behind, that's where I think the chances of conversion becomes. And I think that's where the art is life of any designer.
I think that's a very fair point, right? As much as we believe and we know that art is going to add that extra bit of life to the word that he used. Obviously, it's coming from all the three aspects. Color, which is what anybody is able to see first. Color or the lack of color. Two is form, which you recognize or you don't recognize. And third is, of course, in terms of the overall impression that it makes. And that impression is extremely important for one reason, because it comes to another second level of emotion that it creates. And we'll come to that and we'll move that to the artist. But as you said, that 20% is what we're trying to make 25. Because I don't think it's going to be possible to reverse it, where we have 80% designers and architects coming in. And you're very right, actually, and please don't hesitate, despite two of us here, to say anything that you wish to. Because we need to, if we don't address the elephant in the room, we won't know what to do with it, right? So I think, so according to you, please elaborate on these little problems of that 20%. You said logistics, but that was a very mild word.
So I'll tell you what, I'm not a problem person. I'm a solution person.
Okay.
So, and I represent and have the responsibility of about 600 artists that I represent. And they look to me for, assistance in selling their art. Because artists, I would love them to be in a space where they don't ever have to bother about where this art is going. They must really be able to emote on canvas or on any medium and free of the market, Then India will really see the most beautiful art. But if they have the market in mind, then we lose out the essence of the artist. So what I have done is I have my architects who I am now associated with for the last 3 years during this COVID time. And I associate with them right at the start. And I tell them, don't send pictures of rooms, houses, offices or whatever with your imagination of art. Don't do that.
Don't do that, sir.
Yeah, you are great with your space. We are great with our art. So let us marry the two and come up with solutions. So they come to me with the project and I fill it with the kind of art that I visualize based on the brief given to me. What kind of building it's going to be, what kind of house or an office it's going to be. They have the brief, they share that, and we then conceptualize. Once I conceptualize and I put it up there, then now it's a picture. There's no logistics.
Yes.
So then they say, okay, we like this, but maybe we would like to change the color, or maybe we would like to, something, whatever, we do it on the computer.
Right.
And we give them. So then now they have a 3D walkthrough of whatever they want.
Nice.
And that is what they're showing the client. It gets approved and we get a turnkey job.
Nice.
Then all my artists get associated in delivering what is already there. And that is it. And I take the help of all my artists when I'm conceptualizing it.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's great, because as you rightly said, solution giver, solution provider.
Yeah.
And I think, so this is the start point, what Pritesh was mentioning, the start point being that you visualize the space with it, and it actually begins there. Because if you don't have that on the wall, it's definitely a dead wall. What you're doing is, and yes, as much as we like it or not, we are still determining that little size, and we are saying that this is the space where something's going to come in, right? That's how you do it. Have you collaborated with any gallery in this manner before?
So definitely, as a designer, we don't collaborate because see, the art is something which what you like, I may not like. What I like, he may not like. So we cannot fix with one gallery where we say client यहाँ से लेना है. This is the only gallery. We have to be flexible. We have to keep things open for them. And as ma'am suggested, the only problem we are not able to take you in early stages because the clients also they want us everything free of cost. And we are against, we also guide them, we tell them, respect architects and designers. There's a lot of time and energy goes. You cannot say, doctor, hey, give me discount on injection. It is going to cost you because it's giving a consultancy. We are also professionals. Okay? We all are, there's a heart and emotion goes when you're doing something. So we also want to respect that to, as an artist to you, that we don't want to waste our time and energy unless we are confirmed that the client is going to come to us, and then only we approach you and make sure that you, when we are approaching you, you also, end of the day, you should be respected and the work should be executed.
Sure. So are you alright with free service till the art is bought?
We don't do any free service.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I'm from advertising.
Right, okay.
In advertising, they give you a brief and then you have to deliver. There is a thing called a rejection fee and there is a prospect fee. So we work in that manner.
Great, okay.
Today, the building that is going to come up in Milan is a 47-story art building that will come up. Right from the murals to the furniture to the walls to the ambience, it's all art. This man has a vision. He joined up with us and we have delivered. And we are waiting to see the whole building come up. So, people respect that. What we do is we charge a fee to conceptualize.
Nice.
And it is factored into the cost of the designer, the architect. They factor that in. And then there is a rejection fee. And there are also 3 changes fee. You can do 3 changes, yeah. That's exactly how we worked in the advertising world. We can't please somebody with the first. We're not egoistical. We know that, it's subjective. So fine, we do it. You want to change, one more, stop. More, again the meter starts.
Great. Any other gallery owners here?
Architect has also very great responsibility, more than artists and galleries, to introduce art in their project. I think without that, even their project also is incomplete, right? And means painting, sculpture, mural, whatever. I think this is very important. What I realize in my
Yes.
generally, often we don't get in that kind of collaboration, like architects, artists, even just yesterday, my great friend, Kotik Edelkot, he died from, he was neighbor from, he was a great artist. He always, he's very senior, but he always wanted to talk about art. He hardly, mentioned his project with art, but he always liked to know what is going on, whether it go with his project or not. I think those are very important for especially the artists, to promote their art. Because artists has a very small capacity or role in this regards. Because artists are very innocent, they don't know the business, most of the cases. Not the architect and the gallery owners, they can, but their architect, I think, the more important what I.
So I think, very, very fair point. You use the word responsibility, and obviously it is a responsibility. There's also a lot of joy, and I would kind of second what Mitesh was saying, is that when you start inserting it from the very beginning, the only difference is, and we were just talking about that earlier, right, that there is a difference between a print versus, an actual original piece of art. Not that the prints are not original arts, and have you fixed that where you had to compromise, or I would say, I look at it differently personally, is that the entry point into that space is through a print as compared to, because they've never actually bought any art. And so has that happened to you?
Yeah, many of times, we have actually explained them what is the difference between print and an art. We always say, it's like when you print, you will not have emotion in your place, but when you have an art, you will have emotion in your place. That's how we try to convince them. A small painting with a hand paint and a small printout with a printer machine, there is a difference. There is no sense. But in the art piece, there is a sense. So we have to make them understand, and I think that's how we get convinced the client. So they have to understand what is the difference. See, they don't know. They are not from our industry. We need to put it in the right way, and I think then they appreciate it.
So does the cost factor then come in?
See, cost is always going to be a challenge for a designer.
Yeah.
I tell you why. Because art is the last thing,
Correct.
not first thing.
Yeah.
The moment any project which comes, you and me will understand, there are thousands of things which we have to promote. It's not that only art, right from technical to, a lot of things are there.
Yeah.
So art is always the last stage. Okay? Definitely when you are conceptualizing, you have in mind that you want an art piece.
Yeah.
But you cannot focus on the budget of the art, because if it goes over, then you may lose the entire project.
True.
That's why the reason we keep the art at the last, but we make sure that there are certain percentage of amount which is kept for the art.
Keep aside, yes.
And that's how we can do justice with
True.
artists.
So as yeah, please.
I can tell you why art comes last. It's not your fault. But actually, we don't have a culture of art. If you see, I'll just give you a small example. My nephew is residing in London. He's a banker. And from station there is a road. At both sides there are small bungalows. And all the bungalows, they have wall-to-wall glass windows. So one evening I was just walking. It was dark outside and all the walls were lit. So I was walking and I saw every house is having at least one painting, original painting, maybe from a small painting, whatever. And I reached my nephew's place and I saw there is no painting. So this
Not even his uncle's painting.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they are not even. They are all IITians and double graduates and all. But some of them have not even visited any art gallery during the lifetime. So there is a vast scope. You have to educate. You have to make them take interest into art. Otherwise, it's again part of the culture. No? When in my house, it is me and my wife and the whole family decides, and my parents, and their parents, what we have been displaying in a house. So I think there is a greater role for architect as well as designer, that you have to be a bridge between artists and the common people.
Yeah.
And you have more responsibility, or rather a task of convincing people or educating them about what is art.
True.
And why they should go in for original work and not prints. See, there is always a difference when there is a human touch to anything, or rather it is just a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
So there is always a difference. So the difference has to be understood, this difference has to be shared. And once they get, and I find that in recent time, I find a little bit difference. Now the elder generation who used to collect art, they have saturated, they are no more interested in acquiring new art. But the younger generation during last 10-15 years, basically ITs and other things, they have been globetrotters. And they have been exposed to the art world. They go to the museums, they go to the galleries. And they are coming back, they are the people who have got a little bit of money also. Not too much of deep pockets. But they are the people who are taking interest in art. And I think this is, this again ball is in your court, to see that your end users of the people, they are educated and they take interest in art. That will serve the real purpose.
Very, very well put. I understand where you're actually coming from this whole idea. Art does not come last only in terms of the stage of design and architecture. It also is that last useful thing in the space. So I think in general, as humans or as a developing nation, as much as art was a part of our craft in India, there's so much now that is beyond that. And being beyond that, obviously means that it is taken away from the utility products and it is coming out as a piece of, color, form, decor and emotion within another space. The awareness bit is a never-ending kind of a story, because and as you rightly said, that the large amount of the younger crowd is obviously exposed to good art, bad art, without being completely educated about it. At least they're seeing much more visuals, and the number of visuals that they see is obviously based on the amount of things that are existing on the internet. But I had one more question to you, and I was, you already mentioned the word emotion. When you say that you don't like to do, commission work, right? Don't you think that the art that you produce should, as a mood, emotion that you felt, should be felt by somebody else within another space?
Certainly, that's why I am only working on my own emotions. I don't allow anybody to enter that. It's very personal, private, and that's where creativity takes birth.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong. If I talk generally, I think that there has to be more interaction directly or through galleries, the artist, with designers and with architects.
Okay.
So that the awareness in the society grows, about, and you must encourage artists from the local, your local artists. If you are in Karnataka, you must use art from your own people.
Okay.
Because I find very disturbing. Recently, I visited China. I visited one gallery, and the owner was telling me that I sell some 10 containers of my art to India. There are many builders and architects and designers who bring in Chinese art. Chinese art, I'm nothing against Chinese or anybody artist coming from. But you are just bringing in prints, and you are selling it to your own people here. What kind of art they are having in their houses? You just go, you will have, you can have a look at them.
We are as much, accused of the same thing, and we are as much to be blamed, because we've done the same thing. And they're not just prints, they're actual works, but which are complete rip-offs, copies. Of course, some of the techniques are brilliant. Only thing is that the problem is, and this is what happened, and I'm going to ask you that next question, we were just talking about custom art, right? Or how today galleries are also, asking artists to make art which may fit in more easily into spaces, correct? So within China itself, within one of the, which is one of the largest furniture malls there, they used to have one entire floor which had a lot of art, small, large, a lot of hotels, etc. Public projects pick art from there. For residences also, you can pick from there, different sizes. But there was one space there which I always knew as being original, in the sense it had signature, signed art. So we took one of the clients there, and we told them that this is real stuff, and they saw it, and obviously it was impressive. We've seen a large amount of those pieces already being used in India. We saw one of them which was great, and when we spoke to the person who was there, she said, "So you can choose. We can make this in any color that you want." Suddenly, it lost its purpose. So as much as that is convenient, somewhere it kind of sinks your heart to know that this is not really art. Sir, so how much do you think controlled art? Because obviously, as you said, it's your mood, your emotion. You also said the same thing. But do you think that if you'd feel good if in any form, if your art reaches some goal?
First of all, art cannot control. It is emotions, right? Art is about emotions. There are, few people, they try to give you ideas and all. It is always there. It happens, any profession. But truly artists or true persons never do such kind of things. Like, I think every artist has some kind of sort of experience about kind of things.
Yeah.
Some client, even Papa is a very good friend. It's not a client. He came and suddenly is talking about, I want this, I want that. So, I tell you one incident, I don't tell you the name. In Bombay, it's a very famous girl, very well known, very close from him. One day, and I have a very close relation, most of the galleries. So, I go their houses. Most of the time, I don't go their gallery opening, because opening is every month or every week. I cannot go. But as a relation maintained, I go their house, dinner, lunch, whatever. But one day, some incidents, they asked one painting for them also. And suddenly, she says, I think this is not suits, in the show. And then she only called me, and then I says, look, and she has money. So I said to her, I said, look, you have money, you can do many things, not everything.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you cannot tell me, what kind of art I do for you. So, if you don't like, it's absolutely okay, but you cannot tell me what to like.
Okay.
And then I told her, look, for in my lifetime, I never come to your place. Not at all. So, this happened, but after 3 years, I realized, I still remember, this is what you have. It's like that. So, because I never compromise in that. I can do some another painting also, instant taking that painting to give it others. But I realized it is not about egos.
Yeah.
It is about what actually, it is my own work.
Yeah.
Nobody can take what should I do.
True.
And therefore I'm an artist.
Yeah. So exactly. I mean, I think the whole definition is kind of little blurred. As what we were discussing, what you just mentioned, also this whole idea of not just this whole idea of customization, but there is this little gap between, because as much as an artist is okay to survive with certain means, because when he chooses art, he already chooses that, right? And I think I've always said this, that in India, this whole idea of art began during the early 40s and 50s, just little post independence, and it started coming out with a lot of patrons started saving art, saving money, and putting it there. But at the same time, we had a lot of pathos. We came from a very socialist kind of a mindset, so it was very anti-capitalist, which means that it only, even artists themselves believed that we need to be frugal in our own means, right? And it became kind of anti-commercial. Artists themselves started looking at other artists as being commercial or non-commercial, right? Do you face that? Do you have a set of artists who are different in their mindset?
See, my dream is that every artist should be non-commercial. That is my dream. I feel this way because I am an artist myself, a gallery later, a curator later. Okay, so the first thing I feel is the liberation of the mind of the artist is very, very important. To know that he is only conversing with himself when he paints. That's his emotion. Yet, he has to survive. He has to run a home. He has to do things. So, there are many artists who tell us, oh, that category, oh, they're the Ganesha and the Buddha painters. So I tell them, even a farmer does a cash crop, right? So keep 20% as cash crop. Why have angst if someone is selling their Buddha or their Ganesha? And why are you not wanting to consider them great artists? Everyone who can create is great, according to me. Whether the market buys you or no, right? So I say, instead of having angst, find out what the market wants, give 20% of your time to that, and 80% feel your own emotions, talk to yourself and paint. Then your house will run, your art will be yours, and your emotions will be well respected.